hope and heartbreak. For 5 days, residents and rescue teams across central Myanmar have been combing through rubble and trying to stay safe amid aftershocks. Neighbouring countries like China, India, as well as Russia have sent in rescue teams, but they can only do so much in the face of such widespread devastation. A lack of heavy equipment and damaged roads have slowed progress, with locals saying some of the worst hit areas went days without any help.
Trucks and road movements are taking much longer, or having to take alternative routes due to damaged bridges and roads, so that is having an effect, as well as the communication challenges.
The extraordinary force of the earthquake was felt more than 1,000 kilometres away in the Thai capital, Bangkok. Much of the attention has been on the 80 or so victims believed to be under this collapsed building.
This is really the only major damage in Thailand from the earthquake, but even this is a tragedy for Myanmar too. Many of the workers who were building this tower that collapsed came to Thailand from Myanmar to try to safely make a better living.
It is unimaginable. I mean, you have a disaster on top of a disaster. You got to remember, there were more than 20 million people in need of humanitarian aid before the quake hit.
Tom Andrews is the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights for Myanmar. He's monitored the country's civil war and the ruling military's attempt to keep its grip on power. And he says he's stunned by how the ruling junta has responded.
You've got obstruction of aid. You've got the military junta continuing to bomb areas throughout the country. Instead of having an all-hands-on-deck focus on saving lives, they're taking lives. It is just absolutely unconscionable to see this going on.
For 4 years, Myanmar's ruling generals have battled multiple armed groups after overthrowing a democratically elected government. The military junta is led by Major General Min Aung Hlaing, who directed the coup against now jailed Democratic leader Aung San Suu Kyi. In the aftermath of the quake, state TV showed him visiting hospital patients and questioning the quality of buildings.
When I visited the damaged areas, I saw mistakes in the engineering methods used for their construction. Some buildings were carelessly built without proper measurements.
He asked for international help and declared a national week of mourning. But as he was doing this, his Air Force planes continued attacking targets in areas controlled by the opposition.
The junta has been losing ground. They control well less than half of the territory. So they've been losing ground militarily. Now they've responded, unfortunately, by escalating attacks on civilian population, aerial attacks, artillery attacks. We've seen more attacks in the last quarter than since the coup began.
The UN and opposition groups have unsuccessfully appealed for a pause in the conflict, raising doubts about how aid will be distributed. 17 years ago, the junta was accused by activists of misusing aid that poured into the country following a devastating cyclone that killed more than 130,000 people. Many are worried the same could happen.
The problem is, as aid goes into the hands of the junta, that they're going to use it for their own political purposes, that they're going to use it for their own troops. I think the international community must insist that aid has to go to where it's needed. Period.
For now, politics is back of mind for millions in central Myanmar. Survival, rebuilding, and coping with the loss of so many people is the priority.